Think there's any members of the public here except for one?
Remember who?
Just the one member of the public, everybody else is staff.
I call this meeting tonight to order. It's a special meeting on July 30th, 2024, and it is 6:30.
Clerk, call the roll. Ask the clerk to call the roll.
We're going to ask the clerk to call the roll. Thank you.
Mayor Susan Payne is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Sharon McDonald.
Here.
Commissioner Nick Paul.
Here.
Commissioner Stephen Burnett.
Here.
Commissioner Warren Robinson.
Here.
Commissioner Josh Roden.
Here.
Commissioner Mark Tapley.
Here.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, we have a quorum.
Thank you. We're going to ask, do we have somebody here to do the invocation? If not, we're going to ask Warren Robinson if he would do the invocation, and if Commissioner Reardon would do the pledge, please.
Would you join me in prayer? Eternal Heavenly Father, we thank you for the beauty that you've given us. We thank you for the skills, the talents. We thank you for life. Now, Lord, bless each person here who cares and wants their city to do better. You've given us talents, Lord. Bless us to use them well. Bless us to hold each other up instead of fighting. Bless us to keep each other in sincere regard and in love. Lord, thank you for what you have done here in Alamogordo. Bless these people to make life even better as they make decisions, as they make choices, as they work on problems and budgets and things that are difficult for anyone. But put your hand on them and give them the strength, the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding that they need to do well. This is what we ask in your Son's holy name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we're going to have the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Commissioner Burnett, do we need a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Commissioner Tagley. So we have a motion by Commissioner Burnett, and then we have a second by Commissioner Tagley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We gotta wait for Rachel.
Yeah, we
She's
gotta
doing
wait.
the new system.
And the motion passed.
There should be six of
It
us.
should be 6.
Who didn't vote? Let's see.
Warren.
Warren.
So the motion passed 6-0.
I'm just looking for my button. It didn't pop up.
Minimize the screen for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so your button won't show anymore because you're already marked as yes.
Okay.
So can we move on to public comment?
Yeah.
Okay. Public comments?
I don't think anybody was signed up. Let's see.
Thanks. Nobody signed up, so no public comment. Okay, next, any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda?
I apologize, I didn't take that one out because we don't have a consent agenda.
Okay, all right. So next is new business. Consider and act upon Resolution 2024-50 approving the Department of Finance Authority quarterly reports for the period ending June 30th, 2024.
Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner, City Manager, this is the resolution that we're required to approve every year that allows us to submit the final quarterly report for fiscal year 2024. So this will be the balances as of June 30th, 2024. Just as kind of a recap, we began the year with $92.9 million. We brought in $69.7 million of revenue. We expended $63.8 million of expenditures, and we will end the year with $98.8 million of cash that is spread over liquid cash and investments.
Do we have any questions? If not, I'm going to ask for a motion.
When we do this in the future, are we going to have like the old sheets that kind of have the breakdown? Like this is a lot of information with just numbers. It's not in any kind of order.
Yes, we can include the recap.
You know what I mean? Like we have like when we do budget,
Yeah.
where we have just the
recap?
yeah. Like this looks like it's everything.
It
Like,
is everything.
This is the whole big book.
Yep,
Okay.
that's the whole thing, every line.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, we're going to ask for, I'm going to ask for a motion.
Move to approve.
Okay, and that is Commissioner Robinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Reardon has done the second. So if everybody agrees.
Now you should see your buttons.
I see mine
Yep,
now.
okay.
Okay, the motion passes 6-0. And we have item number 2. Okay, are we ready to go on?
Huh?
Are we ready to go on?
Yeah.
Okay, item 2. Consider and act upon the approval of Resolution 2024-51, amending the preliminary fiscal year 2024-2025 budget with the carryover fund balances and adopting the final budget for 2024-2025.
Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, so this is, again, our annual resolution where we bring the actual cash balances as of July 1st. That is going to be revision number 1. We are revising our estimated cash balances that we presented at the budget hearings, which were $61.7 million. We're revising those up by $33.1 million, which will give us an ending cash balance of $94.8 million. The difference in between that and what we talked about on the last item is the New Mexico Finance Authority reserve accounts that is included on our monthly reporting but is not included on our budgeted cash. Then from there, our next resolution is Resolution 2, or Revision 2, where we are carrying over any revenues and expenditures, transfers in and out, that were not completed in FY24. So we currently have 192 open projects. These are not just our capital, like construction type projects. These are also our operating projects, our projects that carry over every year that we use to track financials. So we go through every project and see if there's any balances left that need to be transferred over. Departments can also submit to have their purchase orders carried over from the previous fiscal year, as long as they have an outstanding either invoice that is still outstanding, or if they have work that is still pending under that purchase order. So revision 2 is a long one because it has all of the different funds, all of the different projects and everything that were carried over. And then, so the total that we're carrying over with that revision is $8.4 million in revenues, $4.7 million in transfers in between the funds, and $35.5 million in expenditures, with the largest lift of that being a lot of the capital projects. Is there any questions on the carryovers or anything we want to go more in depth with?
It's taking a minute to load.
Yeah, mine
Yeah.
is too.
Yeah.
It's taking forever.
Okay.
Version of it.
Uh-huh.
It's a big file. Yeah.
Let's see if that helps. I was still on like page 3. It was still trying to
Mine's
download.
not even loading.
We might need to look at increasing our bandwidth in the chambers if everybody's going to be on at the same time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to trust you.
And of course, there's also our typical state carryovers with the state fire fund, where they're allowed to carry their balances over. And then with the law enforcement protection fund, where they're also allowed to carry their balances over. While you guys are going through that, I'll go through some more revisions. Revision 3 is to add the cannabis GRT budget for FY25. If you'll remember, when we came for the preliminary budget hearings, we had not developed that budget at this point. So for our final budget, we are budgeting $269,000 in cannabis GRT revenue. The bulk of that will go to our capital equipment line. We are looking this year to use the cannabis GRT to help jumpstart our capital equipment replacement program for all of the departments that do not have a revenue or funding stream for capital equipment, specifically Parks and Recreation, Community Services. Those are the big ones that right now are severely lagging in equipment replacement. Most of the trucks they're driving, some of them are over 20 years old, most of them in the case of the Parks Department. So we've been working with the Fleet Department and coming up with a matrix so that we can start replacing those vehicles and actually create a revolving replacement program rather than just trying to piecemeal it every year. So that is our recommendation on revision 3, which is the cannabis GRT money.
If we didn't have the cannabis money, would we have to continue to limp along patching things?
Either that, or we would have to look at rededication of gross receipts tax. We might still need to look at some sort of rededication of gross receipts tax, being that, we're budgeted to bring in $269,000. We'll see, this is only going to be the second full year that we're going to receive the cannabis money, so we're still a little bit up in the air. This is an average of the first 2 years, so of course we hope that it exceeds our expectations. But it is possible that we might need to add more funding, because truly, to go out and buy like an F-550 work truck for streets, or to go buy, a truck for parks, they're getting up close to $100,000 even for just a regular F-150. So
We're not gonna use the cannabis money for the sign-on bonuses for DPS anymore?
So at this point, that was not what we were recommending for this year. It's still, once we pass the budget today, it's still revisable. We can revise it, we can bring it back at any point in time. There is also a cash balance of $43,175 that we still have earmarked for sign-on bonuses as
So
well.
that's just two bonuses though, right?
Is
Is it
two bonuses.
20,000 or
Yeah,
25?
Depending on if they come in fully certified or if they don't. There's a scale depending on how they are.
I thought we had dedicated that cannabis money to be used for that purpose.
So that's what we have recommended the last 1.5 years. We have not seen a fully staffed police department, and so we still have people coming and going. We still have vacancies, so we were looking to recommend to try and do something else with it.
Didn't we
It's
put
not increasing us.
almost 300,000 in there the last time or whatever towards that from the first year of cannabis money?
So our budget.
Sorry, this is lagging so bad I can't
No,
look at
you're
it.
fine.
So you do have a PDF that's
That's what I'm on, I think.
down. No, the actual agenda book that I tab,
Yeah, go
it's
back to
there
your
too.
original.
If you want to pull that up.
Okay.
Okay, how did you do that? There we go.
So the FY23 actual for the cannabis was 224,000. The FY24 original budget was 204,000. We adjusted that up to 275,000. And I think our final number came in right about 310,000.
Okay, so we spent all that on bonuses already, or?
Yes.
We have, okay. I just
We've-
don't want to see that fund dry up and have to bring a budget adjustment forward for us to,
So yeah, we spent $296,372 in fiscal year '23, and that was all on retention bonuses. Then in FY '24, we moved that over to try and use that for sign-on bonuses, and we spent $290,000 on sign-on bonuses.
so in the event that we blow through the 44,000 that we have, where are we going to get the money to do sign-on bonuses?
From our vacancy savings, from the fact that we're not filling the police officer spots that we have budgeted.
Vacancy savings, so we're going to pull it out of,
Out of Fund 400-4104, because they still had over $1 million worth of vacancy savings because of unfilled police officer
okay,
spots.
so we got plenty. What if the stars and the moon align and we fill in all the police?
That would be amazing.
I
Then we
know-
would
I know.
definitely come back to you guys and report that
Okay.
and look at an
And then
additional
figure out where
plan.
we were going to pull it from? Okay.
That would be a very happy
Have we,
item to
have
bring
we
back.
looked at, for the parks and stuff, maybe putting truck replacement on the ICIP type stuff? Like we do
So,
with police cars and that kind of?
yeah, so the last several years, the legislatures in those meetings where we have with them with the ICIP have indicated to us that they would prefer that we focus on infrastructure projects. So that's why we've been putting infrastructure projects forward. Partially too because the ICIP says that whatever you buy has to have a lifespan of 10 years. And if you don't meet the lifespan of 10 years, you're supposed to pay the money back to the state.
Okay.
So vehicles they're a little touchy in that 10-year lifespan.
Some of them that parks have been driving, I think, are like
And
1996 models.
that's it. They've been doing a great job
There's
of
a
keeping them
Ford
going.
that I swear is a 1992 model that's
Oh,
still driving around
absolutely.
over there, so.
I believe it. We have a dump truck that's actually older than 4 of my employees.
Yeah, it's still going. Must be a Chevy.
So revision 4 is a correction to the library contract services. We accidentally removed their budget twice during the budget process instead of once, so we need to add that back. Revision 5 is to add funds to engineer the improvements for the road to the water filter plant. For those of you who rode the senior center bus down that road, you understand what we're talking about in terms of the improvements. Revision 6, 7, and 8, 6, 8, and 9 are all to bring the senior center awards up to what they were actually awarded. So we projected what they were going to receive from the state, the federal government, and the federal NSIP program. So all 3 of those are bringing them to their actual award levels. Revision 7 is adding funds to the New York SMP. The lowest bidder was higher than the projected cost, so we're adding $450,000 to be able to complete the New York SMP, which is the project that is going in front of the Great Blocks project that Main Street received the grant for. That project, the Great Blocks bid will open tomorrow, so everybody keep your fingers and toes crossed that we can get close to the grant amount on that one. And then the other revision that's kind of part of that group is revision 11, and this is to bring the project for the Bluetooth fire recovery at Benito Lake. NRCS agreed to provide $206,000 of additional funding, so this is revising that on there as well.
So, you said on that revision for the Great Blocks, the 450, you're just moving it over there?
So what we're doing,
I understand the bid came in higher than what the engineer's
yeah.
estimates, but.
So the New York SMP, which is our match for Great Blocks, is funded out of both Fund 81 for the water and sewer pipes and Fund 109 for the streets. So water sewer is adding an additional $290,000, and streets is adding an additional $160,000. That's to the $1.5 million that was already allocated.
What were the numbers again? Sorry.
$290,000 for water and $160,000 for streets.
Out of 109, okay.
So that project is going to go from 1.5 million to 1.9 and a half million. So that, and then the Great Blocks have 1.9 million in grant funds.
Okay.
So we'll see tomorrow what it comes in at.
What the bids come in at to do the work?
We have talked to State Main Street, and they do have some additional funding that could be applied for. So we actually have a meeting scheduled for Friday, so that once we actually have the bids and we can see if they're over the 1.9, and see if Great Blocks State can make up the difference.
Gotcha. Or phase the project to where we can afford it?
Or some pretty concrete is going to have to be less pretty.
Okay.
And then our final revision is our usual true-up revision. This is where we're adjusting the transfer outs to the subsidized fund. Once we look at the carryovers and what POs we carried over, what projects we carried over, we almost always have to do a true-up. In this case, we had to increase the transfer into community services, the senior center, the golf course, streets, maintenance had to have an increased transfer in, and engineering also had an increase in their transfer in. And those are all the revisions at this time.
Now, my screen is still not up with the vote.
Down here to that.
It goes back to the old system.
Just scroll up and go to your original.
I think this is more than, I just wanted to go to the vote.
Oh, just,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's on you.
Yeah,
For,
I was-
a vote
Sorry.
Or a motion. You go by this line by line real quick? No.
Absolutely, let's go.
Just like-
Fund 11,
Be here
general.
till-
I just want to get to the voting page.
Oh.
And so,
Go to that one.
okay, All right, I'm back.
I'll just make a motion, we approve resolution 2024-51.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Commissioner Reardon has motioned to approve.
Do you have a second?
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And then Commissioner Burnett has seconded. Okay, oh, the vote comes up, okay.
Did yours come up? Okay. Pretty fancy. It's a little too high-tech for me, I'm kind of old school.
I wanted to get like really big, like green buttons, red buttons.
Have a green and a red on each side.
When Stephanie explained it to me, that's what I imagined. And I thought, you know.
And the motion is passed 6-0.
Make a motion to adjourn if nobody has any objections.
Second.
Okay, and it's been motioned to adjourn.
Still got to vote on
We
it.
got to vote on
We
that.
got to vote on it.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
We have to do that on the screen.
Will that vote come up on the screen or no?
One pass.
They're doing it.
Oh.
We're not doing it. They're
Okay.
doing it.
Okay.
Can't even-
So we're adjourned.